this corner, I can feel the rich history of 18th and Vine. Of course, as the energy and the history and this ground that we're going to break ground on today is extremely hollow ground. As the Reverend has said in this prayer, in terms of Ella Fitzgerald, Charlie Parker, Buck O'Neill, Jackie Robinson, and all those greats who walked these fine grounds. Today, we help with this project, not just breaking ground as another construction project, but breathing new life into 18th and Vine in this corner in this rich legacy. And speaking of some of that history, we also have history here in the crowd as well today. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge a few special guests who join us today. And you all will have to help me if I miss anyone, but I'm going to talk about some of the former city council members that join us. I'll start with former 5th District Council member Ken Bacchus, who is here and joins us today. I saw Lee Barnes, my colleague on the City Council for the 5th District at large. We certainly recognize him. Now, anyone else that I didn't recognize outside of Mr. Brooks, so let me, before saying Alvin Brooks' name, of course, he just celebrated Saturday, his 93rd birthday. Alvin Brooks from the 6th District at large, Mayor Pro Tem. And many others who might come and join us here. Councilmember Charles, I was going to say Charles Hasley, but he is here in spirit. Nash, Curls, Finley, Sharon Sanders Brooks, all of you all, and of course Mr. Simmons, Mr. Mayor, and then of course our current council member who is here, and the other council member who isn't here, but the 3rd District council members. A big shout out to you. And I, like all of us, I'm sure, give our deepest gratitude to Joanne Collins, who is not here, but we certainly wish her a speedy recovery, and we're thinking of her. Now, this journey, of course, is an incredible one, and it started with a lot of hard work. And then Councilmember at large, Quentin Lucas, of course, now Mayor Lucas, he and I set out on a path to start the 18th and Vine Development Policy Committee, which then Mayor Sly James appointed. And we started on this journey where the Zoe brothers, which the development straight to the east here, is now come to fruition. And all the other developments that are taking place, and you'll hear a lot more about that as we go on today, but also Boone Theater and others. We are here at an incredible moment, and I want to take a moment now to allow for Mayor Lucas to come. Let's give him a big round of applause. The Mayor of Kinston, Missouri.
Thank you, sir. It is always a great time to be back home here on 18th and Vine. Not only did I have the absolute honor of representing this area on the City Council, but I also had the chance to live here for quite some time, to see what was working, what had been done well, what our predecessors like Mr. Simmons and so many others had done to build up a neighborhood, but also to see the opportunity that we had. And I want to thank a lot of you who always saw the opportunity here at 18th and Vine as well. Sometimes they were formal conversations and formal meetings. I remember talking to people like Ed Honesty, talking to people like Maurice Glover, and others who would tell me, "Now, this is what you can be, this is what you can do." Councilman Reed and I remember being the somewhat younger council members with the dean of the Black Caucus, Lee Barnes, who would say, now look, y'all need to make sure you do this, this, and this to get a lot of different things done. And while he was not a 3rd District councilman, his impact is felt here in millions of dollars of investment and new housing and new entertainment opportunities. I also want to thank all of you on the public service side of things. I saw Sean Hughes always looking good. I see so many from city staff. If you are a city staff member, whether you worked on this project or not, just raise your hand. Let us give you a round of applause and thank you for all that you have done over all these years. But the other thing that we needed to make sure we were getting this development done, and Councilman Reed, I know you remember it well, we needed some money. And we tried our level best, and with a lot of good success and the help of the city council then and ongoing, we were able to find some government investment. But we needed good partners. We needed people like Mr. Simmons. We needed people like Mr. Bennett, who, where some didn't always see opportunity, they saw a gold mine in terms of culture, a gold mine in terms of what we can build up in the core of our black community in Kansas City, and more than anything, a gold mine of opportunity. So I can't promise you're going to make all that money back immediately. But what I can promise is the impact of your firms and your organizations that has been felt here over the past generation, that we see in new buildings around us, that we see in follow-on development that's coming all around this community, is a tribute to how great, how inspirational, and frankly, how brave you were at a time that everybody wasn't saying to invest at 18th and Vine. I won't talk too long because we had the preacher already start us off very well. I do want to make sure I acknowledge one of the best, it's all right. We good and it's just breezy. One of the best church first ladies around and our interim city manager, Miss Kamiko Gilmore as well. But I think I will wrap with this. A few years back, and Councilman Reed, you remember this, there was a media publication, a public radio station that did an expose on how much we've spent at 18th and Vine. And I think kind of some of that, what came out of it was people were trying to criticize us. But at the time, myself and Councilman Reed and others said, no, we are not stopping. We are not stopping on building outstanding development in our community. First of all, when you look at downtown, they don't stop. And I give them credit for that. They keep building, they keep improving. We will make sure that we keep building and we keep improving here at 18th and Vine, here in the 3rd District, here in the black community of Kansas City. So that time, I think it was about $104 million. Since that time, I think we put in probably another $40 to $50 million of investment. And with the help of Councilwoman Patterson-Hasley, Robinson, and my colleagues on City Council, we're going to do even more. We will have an 18th and Vine. That is a wonderful experience for live, work, and play. We will have an 18th and Vine that has outstanding outdoor space, as we are seeing thanks to the investment of Parks and Rec, Councilwoman Patterson-Hasley, Mr. Ollie Gates, and so many others. We will have an 18th and Vine where we don't just tell stories, but where we make new ones. And we will have an 18th and Vine that continues to be a crown jewel, not just of our black community, but of our entire region. So I say thank you to everyone for being here today. Thank you to those who have inspired some of us young ones to make sure we keep doing the work. Thank you to Mr. Brooks for letting us know what leadership truly means. Thank you to Leonard Graham for teaching me how to dress. One day I will get better. I will be sharper. But more than anything, I look forward to all of us having amazing days in the future with mixed income housing, new businesses, new cultural opportunities, new park space, on an exceptional, a reborn, a fantastic 18th and Vine. Thank you all so very much. Congratulations to everyone.
My name is Vincent Bennett. I'm the CEO of McCormick Barron. And on behalf of McCormick Barron, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be your partner. For me, it's opportunity that's much deeper than the bricks and mortar. Got involved back in the 90s as a project manager. And what predated my involvement was a family involvement. Family came up from Rentisville by way of Okmulgee and called Kansas City home, called this district home. And Tony Salazar, who's a son of Kansas City, asked me to be the project manager. And so in the 90s, I was able to be a project manager, work on the first phases. And when Kelvin Simmons called and said, we have some more work to do, I thought it was a blessing that we can continue to support the revitalization of the district. Part of that blessing was a commitment from the city of $4 million to jumpstart the redevelopment. And I'm proud to say through the efforts of Joe Weatherly and Juliette Kamau, if you could raise your hand, Joe, we've secured the investment in one of the most difficult times to secure equity investment. Through the work of Joe and Kelvin, we've secured an investment from Huntington Bank to complete the financing to realize the redevelopment, which will have mixed income housing, retail, and will be part of our commitment to not only provide opportunities for housing, but also provide economic development opportunities for aspiring, emerging entrepreneurs. And that's something that Kelvin, in partnering with Leonard Graham, we were committed to. So as a CEO of McCormick Barron, and in my capacity, it's truly a blessing to really be part of this effort. And it's something that when I look back, I really want to extend to others. And those others include different individuals that have the opportunity to work on this development. So I've leaned on Straub as the contractor. I've leaned on Roseman as the architect to really dig deep, find those opportunities. And I believe working with Leonard Graham and Kelvin, I think we're going to achieve that. So I just really want to take this opportunity to also, with Kelvin and Leonard, announce the naming of this development. And so I'm going to invite Juliet to do the unveiling. And proud to say that the new naming of this development will be called the Parker.
Here we go.
So you've heard from the mayor, you've heard from Kelvin. The naming not only supports but continues the vision, and in a very small way, we're very excited to be part of this, so thank you very much.
Good afternoon, all. My firm, Talaferro and Brown, and I have been working and planning in the 18th and Vine District since the early 90s, when then Councilman Emanuel Cleaver led the charge of revitalizing this district with the Cleaver Plan. I'm sure that many of you remember that. We've worked on every development and improvement in the district, and consequently I have about a 36 or 37 year perspective on rebuilding the district. First of all, I want to point out some of my cohorts. My business partner Hagos is here, Ashley Harris, our marketing person, Michael Gardner, our business development, and then last but not least, excuse me, Jordan Williams, who is our project engineer on this project. Now we're playing, please give them a hand. We're playing multiple roles on this project as we do from time to time, both providing engineering design services and being on the development side. But I want to talk about those two perspectives that I talked about. First is honoring the past, but simultaneously moving into the future, beginning with the district's past. We all know that 18th and Vine was the center of the black community from 1890 through its heydays between 1920 and the 1940s. We've all heard that jazz was born in New Orleans, but it grew up right here in Kansas City, right on these streets here in the 18th and Vine district. Now, many of you who know me know that I'm a dyed-in-the-wool jazz fan. It comes from the stories that I grew up with from my father, who was a young man in Kansas City in the late 30s and the 40s. Hearing his stories about catching a Charlie Parker set and then walking around the corner to hear the Count Basie band in another joint on 18th and Vine got me hooked and enthralled with the district as well as with jazz. So much so that outside my home and my office, the places that I spend more time than any place else is Blue Room around the corner and Centennial United Methodist Church at 1834 Woodland. Not necessarily in that order. The site on which we stand will be the home of the Parker. But this site has been the home of legendary Kansas City legendary Kansas City establishments such as Piccolo's, Fox's Tavern, and the Kansas City Monarchs headquarters. As was said earlier, this is hallowed ground, and we intend to respect that hallowed ground as we move on into the future. Let's fast forward and look into the future. There has been significant planning that has been done in the district, demonstrating what it could and should be. I look back through some of those planning notes as I was preparing remarks for today. One of those goals that struck my mind was we decided that the historic 18th and Vine District, along with dozens and dozens of public comments, was not just to create an entertainment district, but to create a neighborhood that had entertainment in it. A neighborhood with residences and support for those residences, neighborhood commercial establishments, coffee shops, restaurants, hotels, and of course entertainment. Now we are embarking on implementation of those plans. This groundbreaking is just the first of many to follow. We intend on beginning construction on the 18th Street pedestrian mall here just within a few weeks. That's going to be from the Paseo down to Woodland. The Boone Theater down the block is already under construction. The city-owned parking garage, apartments, and the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and Hotel will be starting later this year just across the street on the other side of the Paseo. And design is beginning on major improvements on the Paseo, which will allow construction of Ollie Gates' beloved Archives Plaza right on the corner. In short, things are going to get messy around here, very messy, for the next couple of years. But construction disruption, dust, and orange barrels is the price of progress that we pay for creation of a new 18th and Vine Historic District. We'll respect the district's history and its roots as the home of Kansas City Jazz and the Negro Leagues Baseball. I'm proud and enthralled to play a role in this district's continued growth and development, and I think we'll all be very proud when the dust settles.
I want to talk a little bit about continuity. So we've talked about the future, we've talked about the past, and I've been thinking a lot about continuity myself. When I served as the vice chair of CCED, this was a project that we supported. And so look where we are today, right? Mr. Graham said that 37 years, he's been involved with 18th and Vine. Charlie Parker, who we will name this place after, stood on this ground even long before that. So although that seems like a long time, we cannot remove the role of history and continuity, as well as sticking to the plays. Sometimes a plan isn't even apparent. I remember being invited to a meeting, I think about this very project, and Kelvin leaned over to me and said, "Now pay attention, Melissa, because you will be making decisions like these in the future." I hadn't even thought about running for office. I hadn't even planned, and I certainly hadn't talked to Kelvin about it. Although, interestingly enough, I'm talking to him like every 3 days for advice. So the message is something we don't see as a plan, but when we have the opportunity to be a part of it, you just got to try to enjoy the ride. So I am proud to stand here with you today as a rider and wishing all of you, the entire team, all of Kansas City, congratulations for what the future will definitely bring. So thank you, congratulations.
So this usually means that it's time for us to wrap this thing, right? We've been here for a moment. Appreciate every one of you being here. I get the opportunity right now to be the thank you man. So projects don't happen just by themselves. There are a lot of people that make these projects happen. And so I would be remiss if I didn't say the two words that are very mighty, mighty, and that's thank you. And so with that, I'd like to, first of all, point out that it's already been said, Mr. Mayor, our City Council, thank you so much for what you've done for us. There are other few thank yous that I have to have. I want to start at the city. The city manager's office has been amazing. Good to see you here, our interim city manager. The office has just been outstanding. The communications department has been outstanding. Thank you so much for working with us. This doesn't happen if we don't have partners with the city of Kansas City. So thank you, madam. We also want to say, thank you to all of our partners. I know the sign went down earlier, but we have all of our partners, our general contractors. We've got our architects, our engineers, our lawyers. Believe me, we've got a bunch of folks out here. They're in the audience. Thank you, because this project does not happen if you're not here helping us along the way. We appreciate all of that. On the same note with the city, I want to say to city planning, there's a thank you there. To our neighborhoods, thank you so much to all of the folks in the neighborhood, law department. It just goes on and on and on. But I also would like to point out my dear colleague, my former colleague, my dear friend, Ken Bacchus, former 5th District Council member, who also serves on the CCED board. Vitally important for us because they helped us start in our fundraising process. If they don't come forward, this project may not happen. So if you've ever heard of CCED, our Central City Economic Development Tax, that's what helps fund these projects up and down this corridor. Everybody who's doing something up and down this corridor has been blessed with CCED money. And I'm hoping that when it comes time for us to do this again, that the city of Kansas City, like you've already done, has blessed us with the opportunity. We need to reinvest, and that was a significant part of the investment in this project. Thank you, Mr. Bacchus. Thank you, CCED. Again, we've had a number of funding partners. This is when you know you've got something special, by the people that will be willing to fund a project to make it happen. And so I want to just point out those folks real quick because they're vitally important. I've talked about CCED. We had Missouri Housing Development Commission, MHDC, with our low-income housing tax credits. Our Housing Trust Fund, Home Funds, CDBG, KCATA, thank you very much, LISC, Kansas City Housing Authority. All of these great folks made this happen. We've talked about the fact that we will have affordable, attainable housing. We will have commercial. We will actually redo our House of Hits. For you that don't know, we're hoping that people will be able to go into the House of Hits and enjoy finding out about those artists that are from Kansas City, performed in Kansas City. I want to say by, for Kansas City. It's about Kansas City. It's the House of Hits building. It also housed the Monarch offices. For you that do not know, this is history. So the old and the new with the Parker will all come together. We'll have the opportunity for entrepreneurship. That's why we're going to partner with KC Gift, who recently celebrated its 5th anniversary, doing amazing work in this community. And we will have them doing amazing work with retailers in this particular project. They will be a part of this project, as we will also have a restaurant so that we can continue our culinary desires in this district. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be something. If you can't feel the electricity, if you can't feel what's happening around here, I'm sorry that you didn't bring your good self with you today, because we getting ready to do it, y'all. We are. Right? So again, I've alluded to the fact that we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors who came before us. And we are hoping that with this project, we will make them proud. We also want to say to all of those that have been in the district and stayed in the district, we appreciate you also. Sometimes they let us know, well, you've got all the new stuff coming and y'all forget about us. No, you're our neighbors. You're our partners. We haven't forgotten about you. You know, if I started to name them all, I'd probably forget some. Then y'all, do something to me when this is over. But you know, how do you forget the folks that are there? Some of my favorites, you know, the Zodiac Motorcycle Club. Come on, y'all. Got to give it up for them. We've got Smacks up there. We've got the Lincoln Building that's getting ready to go through the process. I mean, people who have been here, stayed here, we appreciate you also. But if you've not heard, there's likely $400 million of new investment up and down this 18th Street corridor from Lydia all the way down to Brooklyn. This is an amazing time, guys. And you're here to watch it. You're here to witness it. And there will be children and grandchildren that will know of this day. So thank you, each and every one of you that are here. We appreciate this. I'm going to let Mr. Reed close us out, and then we're going to do the special thing. We got to turn some dirt, right? Yeah. We got to put hard hats on, put shovels in the ground, turn some dirt, because that's what the ancestors did, and that's what we will do.